What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Hope. I am a stay-at-home wife, and my husband and I live in a camper and we travel around for his job. Alright guys, so welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I have a little co-star, co-buddy here. This is Blue. Say hi, Blue. Say hi. She's my American Bully Pit, and she's such a sweetie. She'll probably be in and out of the video a little bit. But anyways, what I wanted to talk to you guys today about was the move, because it's been months now since we've actually moved and actually gotten our house sold and all that sort of stuff. So the first half of this video is going to be about the selling of our house and the disaster and nightmare that it was, because as some of you know from my Instagram story when I was talking about it, it took months and it was a mess. And it's literally been just barely over a month that it's been sold now. So I'm going to talk about that, and then I'm going to talk about our move from Texas to Colorado. So without further ado, here we go. The thought process was, in November of 2022, we were going to put the house on the market. John was going to buy a camper, and I was going to move down there with him, move wherever he was with him, after the house was sold. Well, in October-ish, September, October-ish of 2022, we got a text that said, hey, if you ever plan on selling your house in the next like 6 months, let us know because we'd like to buy it. And we thought this couldn't be, this is so perfect. Nothing could be better than this. Like this is so perfect. And it ended up not being perfect. So basically, long story short, we had this buyer that was planning on buying the house. They were moving back to Illinois to be with family and all that sort of stuff. And we were working with one bank who I thought the bank was having issues. Turns out it maybe wasn't really the bank. It was the documents that weren't getting to them on the buyer's end. But the buyer also was really confused as to why they needed a whole bunch of different documents. The whole thing was confusing. We didn't go with a realtor because the buyer and the buyer's son had been realtors before, so they knew how to write all the contracts and all that, and we were fine with that. You know, it didn't matter. So we were supposed to be closing before, before Thanksgiving, I think it was. And so, that was going on, and so our contract was for, like, Thanksgiving. It was a date in November. Well, by the time November 1st hits, nothing's been done. There's been no other documents. There's been nobody coming out to check the house. Like, none of that stuff. And so, I'm getting kind of frustrated at this point, because I'm like, this is ridiculous. Well, the buyer ended up switching banks and going with another one that said, oh, yeah, we can get this wrapped up for you, no problem. So, while they were trying to do that, there was some hiccups and stuff, and anyways, our contract ended up being technically up. Okay, so we get to December, and they're like, we'll have it done by December. We couldn't get it done by Thanksgiving, because obviously, you know, there was the holidays and all that sort of stuff. We'll get it done by Christmas. And I was like, there's no way. It's like, it's just not going to happen. I just knew at this point it wasn't going to happen. Christmas comes and goes, and it's now January of 2023. I'm like, I can't handle this anymore. Like, I have about lost my mind. Meanwhile, I had already moved out of the house in November and moved down to Texas with John in the camper. Okay, so I'm now no longer at the house. Okay, I had gotten everything done, and I'm no longer there. So, there had been, at this point, there had been, a appraisal and all that sort of stuff, which we were like, oh great. So that was like in December. So like the appraisal and everything had gotten done in December, and it was like all good to go. Okay. So then January hits. Right after the first of the year, I got another text from somebody who lived in our hometown area that said, hey, would you consider renting your back pasture to us? We have some animals that we'd like to put on there. And I told her, I texted this person back. I was like, hey, you know what? Like, it's actually under contract to be bought, you know, like, I'm sorry. And this person then was like, oh, okay, well, if it ends up falling through, let me know. We would consider buying it because we wanted it before you guys actually bought it. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. So I then tell my buyer, I'm like, hey, look, I have somebody else interested in the house. They're already like pre-approved. They're ready to go. And technically our contract is up. So then the buyer eventually kind of was trying to get on the bank, and the bank she basically came back and said, well, the bank said that we need 3 more months of statements. And there were some other hiccups. And I was like, I'm not paying a mortgage for 3 more months. Like, I'm not doing that. It would have been, that was January, February, March, April. It would have been April by the time, hopefully, everything would have worked out. And I was like, I'm not paying a mortgage on this house for 3 more months. No way, absolutely not. And so they asked if they could do a contract to buy. At this point now, I'm like, oh, heck no. Like, I'm getting our realtor involved. So I called my realtor, who we rented our apartment from, who helped buy us our house, who then now basically cleaned up this disaster of a contract. And basically, he was like, nope, you are not going to get in contract to buy, because if something doesn't work out, you have to evict them and it's a disaster. You're not doing it. You don't know them that well personally. I'm like, okay, cool. I was like, so what do I do? He's like, I got it. I'll take care of it. So he was absolutely amazing. He sent the termination contract, you know, all that sort of stuff, because the contract was already technically terminated. He just sent the formal one and all that stuff, got it listed, and those people who texted me and wanted the house, or asked if we could rent the back pasture, and then ended up buying the house within a month, and it was sold in March. So using a realtor within a month, we got our house sold. Unless you are a realtor or you personally know the person buying your house, I would never suggest to sell by owner, just from that personal experience, because that was an absolute disaster. And it was just a headache, and constantly like trying to call the bank. And of course the bank can't really tell me much because I'm only the one selling it, not, you know, the one purchasing it. And then trying to text my buyer and be like, what is going on? Because I felt like I wasn't getting straight answers. And anyways, long story short, we got it sold within a month using a realtor to somebody completely different. So anyways, right after we got the house sold, we were told that we were probably going to be going to Colorado in a couple of weeks. And so within moving, there's obviously going to be, you know, expenses that aren't really like, that you don't really kind of like know about, or that are just kind of like unexpected. Now, when we have to move again, I'll kind of expect those expenses and stuff. But yeah, so it was just such a blessing to have that sold finally in March, and then be told, hey, you're going to be moving to Colorado, and then having all that money from the house saved up and being able to put that not only to paying off our camper, but to all the other expenses that come with having to move from one state to another. So that was that. So now moving on to actually moving, okay? Now, what I did to get the camper ready and everything to move was I took everything off the shelves. Obviously, when the camper is being pulled, you know, things are going to fall and shake around. And thankfully, only one glass was broken. It's fantastic. So anyways, what I did to get the camper ready was I took everything off the shelves. Like, I took my flower pots off the shelves. I took, you know, our Echo and all my oils and all of our, like, the gaming system, all that sort of stuff came off the shelves, along with all of our, like, utensils and anything, like, toasters, all that sort of stuff that was on the counters. Just anything that wasn't, like, sturdy stuck somewhere. So then the TVs were pushed back into the wall, and they were buckled. There's a buckle on them, so that way they don't fall off, essentially. And so they were all buckled in. And then you have to, with us anyways, we have to make sure that the floor is really, really clean before we pull the slides in. Because if you don't, you could actually scratch the floor if something is on the floor, because we have like this linoleum type flooring in here. So it's not like actually wood floor. but we also only have carpet on one little portion. So we had to make sure the floor was really clean. And then what I did, this was just me as an extra precaution. I don't think you really have to do this, but for me, I did it just because I was like, if the road's bumpy or anything, I wanted the least chance of stuff to break possible. So what I did was I zip tied all the doors, or like the cabinet doors together. If I couldn't zip tie something, I put painter's tape on it and just taped the drawers or the door side, so that way nothing was coming out, so that way if something were to fall against the door, it wouldn't open. Now, our cabinets are not like your cabinets in your house where they just open and close, you know, nicely. They actually have little hooks on them where, like, you know, they go in and they're actually like stuck in there. But again, our camper is a couple years old. It was pre-owned. I didn't know like if the doors easily opened when the camper was being moved. So I went ahead and just did all that. And like I said, only one glass got broke, which was awesome. And we also took all of our clothes out of the closet and put them on the bed. So that way you don't want weight on the closet rod. Because again, road's bouncy. That rod ends up moving up and down with the weight of all the clothes. Just makes more sense to put them on the bed. So we didn't actually have to like pack up any boxes or anything. Anything that needed to be packed up got put underneath the camper, and everything was fine. And then we just put Blues, who is sleeping right now. I just woke her up. We just put Blue in the truck, and anything else that didn't fit, like just on the floors or in the cabinets and stuff that needed to go in the truck, put it in the truck, and we went. Now, we have two vehicles, okay? We have my husband's work truck, and we have my truck, okay? So we knew that we were going to be going through mountain areas where there was zero signal. So because of that, we got walkie-talkies, okay? Seriously, the best idea ever, because if either one of us was running low on gas, or there was something that one person saw that the other person didn't, or anything like that, instead of trying to call the person and also trying to pay attention to the road or any wildlife that's running around, or just anything, it was so much easier just to radio car to car. So literally, no matter what, if you are traveling for quite a few hours and you're moving two vehicles from one place to another, get the radios or the walkie-talkies, because honestly, it made the trip so much easier for us, and it was kind of fun. Not only do you get to talk through a walkie-talkie, which is, I think, always fun, but there was things when I was following John that I could see like up ahead that he either didn't notice right away or something, just because he was turning and I was like, oh hey, like you're turning and I see an animal up on the ridge, look out to the right, make sure they don't fall down, and run into you. And like I said, we went through a lot of area that didn't have service, so we had the walkie-talkies just to easily talk back and forth to each other in the cars, which was just a really good idea. And these things worked great car to car. I was always right behind John, so it was really easy. They are just the Midland GXTs. I don't actually know what the number is on it. The model number is GXT 100G, if that means anything to anybody. They look like this. But they're really great. Letting each other know, like, hey, I need to stop for gas or anything like that, because when you're driving, it's just so much easier to use that, because you're only having to press one button versus like trying to open your phone or like, use Siri to call and losing signal, and just all that sort of stuff. So it's just super easy to use walkie-talkie. And what's also great is that we have them for if we go hiking, if we need them, if we get separated, or if we go hiking with any sort of like friends or family, we can have them, so that way we can try to stay in touch with them at least a little bit if one group gets further ahead. So we didn't buy them just for the trip. We knew that we were going to use them more. So anyways, but the drive was fantastic. It was quite a few hours. We went, I think 3/4 of the way the first day, spent the night in a little town, and then finished our drive here. And all we had to do once we got here was just set the camper up, which was super easy. Except our water heater had, excuse me, like calcium deposits. So we took about a week trying to figure out how to best clean that out and what to do with all of it. So we didn't have hot water for like a week, but not really a big deal. We both go to the gym, so we could just shower at the gym. Super easy. So yeah, and then setting the camper back up really isn't too difficult. You just have your electric and your sewer hoses that you hook up, and then we just had to make sure that the propane was on, and basically I just put everything back. The slides went out, I put everything back up on the shelves, and honestly got rid of a whole lot of clothes as I was putting the clothes back up, because I was like, man, I don't wear that, I don't wear that. And so yeah, that was just, it was a really easy move, because it was very very not stressful or unstressful, and the drive, oh my gosh, the drive was beautiful, which I will show you a couple clips here in the next, or a couple videos here in the next portion of this video, but the drive was just absolutely beautiful. So it was so much fun to drive through the mountains getting here, because it was just absolutely gorgeous. So anyways, that's pretty much it. So that's the whole story on selling our house and then moving here to Colorado. The next video, I will be wearing the exact same outfit because I'm about to record it, and put all the pieces together. But basically, the next video, I will be talking about our hike in Uri, which, if you don't know, is the Switzerland of America, and also going to Wyoming for Easter. So stay tuned for that video, because I will be posting that next, but the intro will look the exact same because I'm about to do it. So if you like these videos, please like and comment and do all the cliche things, follow, all the sorts of things. And hopefully you'll like my next video, because I'm just going to do a lot more vlogging stuff. And if you want to know about our life in Colorado and wherever else we move next, living in the camper, and all that sort of stuff, keep liking, keep following, and keep watching for more videos. So anyways, that's all. Bye, you guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And God bless all of you.